else can you share? With this book, what can you tell our listeners? Why should they go and get it?
One of the things tying in the diving, the trampoline, the skiing, and all the external physical stuff that I have played at a pretty high level, and I'm very thankful for that. But in addition to the research, I think one of the things that I'm profoundly thankful for is having had a really strong meditation discipline for about 40 years. And I'm discovering the inward experience is as intricate and connected and amazing as the outer experience. And so there's the research, but yes, I've integrated this enough in, so when I talk about some of this stuff, it's like, this is an experience.
In your book, you actually explain how there are people that are walking around there, and it's becoming more and more commonly known that there are people around us that have special gifts, way more than what most people realize. And they've been used by police forces, they're being used by the medical community as medical intuitives to help guide and give advice before and during surgery.
And this is part of the new dimension. It's this inward exploration. It's this, as you said, there are different planes of reality, different planes of existence.
For anybody out there that might be a new idea to you, or you think that might be a bit too foo-foo, I recommend give it a shot. Read Michael's book to get into the science behind it all. Because once you understand, the process behind the miracle, then you're a lot more likely to go out and perform that miracle.
Yeah, I'd say anybody that really has an interest in improving their health, quality of life, performance in whatever area, whether it's athletic or otherwise, is going to find information that, if applied, is going to have a positive transformational process.
It's for basically anybody, at any age, at any part of their life.
Have you ever read a book and then you go back 10 years later and read it again? It's like, gosh, how did I miss that? So I think there's a lot of little nuggets, again, that will resonate.
It's that kind of a book, isn't it? It's the kind of book that you're going to probably want to read over and over again, because it's the basic principles for success.
Yeah, you read it and let it soak in, and then a while later you'll pick it up and you'll pick up stuff you just didn't see before.
We're just talking about it's like the laws of the universe, the secrets of the universe. If it's laced with all those secrets, how many people are really going to get it the first time? It's kind of like scripture, how often do people will read scripture over and over again, and every time they do, they get more.
I teach 11-year-olds in a Sunday school class. And this last Sunday, one of my 11-year-olds said, well, truth is, it's permanent, but it's just our perception of what we see. And it was like, what an incredibly profound statement. We have this infinite expanse of truth, and we make discoveries, and science makes discoveries, and certain spiritual paths have talked about these different planes of existence and reality, and now we are discovering in a more practical way.
So no matter where an individual's paradigm is,
there's another step.
You have so many different levels of changing paradigms. This is another book that you could say is like your body's user manual, and your soul's user manual, and for the whole everything, body, mind, spirit, user manual. So it's just in a very different level. So you've taken things up a notch. Congratulations.
Thanks. That's what I was hoping to do. Again, for anybody that really is anywhere in their life but interested in health and certainly enhancing your spiritual path, it will help you with that.
So definitely, certainly. At whatever level you think you're at, doesn't matter. So congratulations for,
thanks, Stephen,
I think, hitting a home run.
Yeah, I appreciate
a lot of people are going to be talking about this for a long time.
Hope so.
So is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners?
When you think about it, your body is made up of trillions and trillions of cells, 50, 60, 70 trillion individual cells. Each cell has its own job and function.
I'd heard 70 to 100. But you actually, in your book, you say, well, let's just take 50.
I think I said 50 to 100 because that's a pretty big span.
I mean, most people can't even conceive of that anyways.
I can't either. But if the individual cells are healthy, then the organ or system that cell is a part of is healthy. It can do its job, it can perform its function. And if all the organs and systems are working at their optimal capacity, you are going to have vibrant, radiant, energetic health. That will be the result. But if for whatever reason those cells don't receive the nutrients they need, their environment's toxic, a variety of different things that cause them to not be able to perform, the more they break down, the more the organ that they're a part of breaks down, the more the system breaks down, and then that's reflected in the greater organism of the body. And if it happens here, you've got one disease, and if it happens here, you've got another name, but that's basically the idea. But if you take that up a notch and look at it like individual people are cells. We're the cells that make up our community, our family, our nation, our planet. You could say individuals of humanity are cells in the whole planetary system. And if, as an individual, one is strong and healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then that is going to be reflected in the greater organism.
It's also going to be reflected in their business, isn't it?
Across, well, your business is an organism.
Yeah.
I mean, I like organization, organism. I mean, a business, in a sense, is a living entity when you really start looking at it. Some of them are, I'll take that back. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But yeah, the more you can bring of that goodness to whatever you do, it has an effect on your environment and wherever you are. So yes, I'm the cell that if I own a business or if I work for someone, whatever talent, skill, goodness, value that I add, that ups it for the whole organization. And so, you know, I think when we look at the planet, when we look at our country, it's like, how do we bring that goodness and insist that our leaders live that?
And so this ties into the transcending government with world peace and prosperity theme.
Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, it starts at an individual level. And then, you know, then you take that goodness out wherever your path leads you and make your contribution to the greater good. And you might be able to do that through government and you might not. I think many of us have just gotten to the point where we're not going to wait for government to do it. It's like, if it's going to get done, we're going to have to do it.
You mentioned there's a war on disease, there's a war on, you know, terrorism, there's a war
on drugs.
War on this and that, and you're helping shift that paradigm big time in your book.
You know, there's a quote that's an adage, I guess would be the best way to put it, that's really been a guiding light in my life for a number of years that goes, the foolish physician treats the disease. The wise physician fulfills the conditions of health, and the disease will leave of its own accord. So what are the conditions of health that, as human beings, we need to fulfill so the disease of war goes away?
This is for every aspect of our life. You're talking about war, everything.
Drugs, violence, hatred, terrorism. Those are symptoms, those are the dis-ease, but they're a result of human beings really being out of balance with themselves.
We haven't been able to cover enough of your book. You have to go out and read your book, you guys. So there's so many different areas. We just don't have time to get into all the little secrets of what it's going to be about. I wish we had all that time to do it, but it's just so valuable. You have to get the book and read it. Take the time. It's just full of little gold nuggets all the way through it. It's going to be beautiful. So again, newdimensionsandhealth.com.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, and it's really been a delight spending some time with you again, Stephen.
You're welcome.
This has been great.
Thank you, Michael. And we'll probably have Michael back on our show because this is really big news and there's going to be a lot of other things happening. I just feel it. So look forward to hopefully seeing you again. And until next time.
Thank you. Blessings.